NFL Week 8 updated picks and best bets. This is the reason we do 2 weekly videos. We release our first video on Monday, thinking not much will change on Monday night. Well, a lot changed for the Buccaneers. Horrific injury. Chris Godwin, feel real bad for the Buccaneers, and of course Godwin himself. And we really don't understand why people keep blaming Todd Bowles for leaving his receiver in towards the end of the game. Those types of injuries are so rare and so unusual. You don't second guess and blame the coach for doing something that any coach would have done. And good luck getting the player to come out of the game. That's not how it works. So don't second guess and blame the coach. It's just not being fair. But for this game, we think the loss of those two key receivers is going to be a little too much for the Buccaneers to overcome. We think Atlanta is good enough to defeat them 27-21 in this one. Giants at the Steelers. The Giants really showed no offense yesterday against the Eagles. We had the Eagles picked in that game. We thought that line was way too low. The Eagles with they're recovering from their injuries, etc. The Steelers again, all the hype being on the other team. The Jets. Oh, Devontae Adams are going to be so great. What does Steelers do? They just stay there quietly, welcome the Jets, and then just dominate them. So that's what Mike Tomlin does, right? Quiet, confident, competent, just good teams. We like them to continue that here. 24-17 over the visiting Giants. We think this should be a fairly easy win for Mike Tomlin and the Steelers. We're going to make the Steelers Giants one of our preferred picks. We like the Steelers here. Get off that 6.5 number down to 6. We've seen the 6-point margins be more common than they used to be. We think this line could be a little bit high, reflecting the Steelers' blowout win over the Jets. We think the Steelers are that good. We're also going to include this as a teaser leg. The second leg we'll mention later in the video. And before we continue, if you would, just join our channel. And if you like this video or find it useful, like it and then subscribe. We provide weekly NFL picks, highlights, and sports travel. Thank you. And for a reason to subscribe, take a look at our Week 7 game picks and results. We did really good in Week 7, went 12-2, and that's not including two games we were on the fence on, even though they were leans. We didn't count them. We had the Broncos, we had the Jags, lost on the Vikings. Really thought the home field would make the difference. It was kind of a toss-up game, but good job on the Lions on this one. This was a narrow win. We had the Texans plus 3.5. They lost by 2. Cardinals and the Chargers. Well, that was an ugly game. Glad we didn't watch that one. ESPN Plus, who needs it? Ravens, Bucks. We did both. We did straight line and the totals. We love the totals. That was our preferred pick. Went way over that 48.5 number. Knew that number was too high. 51.5 for the Seahawks, Falcons. Came in well under that. Panthers, Commanders. We took the 7. We like that. We like the Colts. We didn't play that one, so I'm not going to claim it as part of the 12. Titans, Bills. We both took it and also included it as a teaser leg. We didn't count the teaser. We just took the straight in this 12-2 calculation. Steelers and Jets, that was a no-brainer for us. The home team being underdogs, okay. Eagles, Giants, we knew that line was too low. We jumped all over that. Raiders, Rams, again, we didn't play that, although we felt the Raiders would cover that. They did. A little lucky there. Chiefs, 49ers, boy, the 49ers looked ugly. And then Bengals, Browns, a clear, obvious under for us. The Jets traveled to New England to face the Patriots in back-to-back road game. Could be a challenge for them. Patriots, of course, coming back from London after that tough game against the Jaguars. We're going to have to go with Aaron Rodgers here over the rookie quarterback Drake May. We think it'll be just a matter of time before he and Devontae Adams are really clicking along with those other receivers. We like JETS here, 24-10 over their AFC East division rival Patriots. We mentioned a teaser for the Steelers game earlier. This would be the second leg. So we like combining the Steelers and the Jets. We think the Jets should win by more than that, but on the road, you never know against the divisional opponents. But this is a little bit of an insurance, kind of a low-risk position. So we like the teaser here, minus the 6 points. That gets you down to a half point for the Steelers and 1 point for the Jets. So we like this play. Titans at the Lions. Not sure who's going to start at quarterback for the Titans. It's going to be Mason Rudolph again, or Will Levis could be back from a shoulder. Looking at the Lions, unbelievable performance against the Vikings. Back-to-back road games going in that tough environment. You look at the game also, if you go back and watch it again like we did, they won by 2, but really they had it more than that. That fumble that the Vikings returned late that kind of kept them in the game, but the Lions really controlled that game. After getting down 10-0, it was all Lions after that. Give the Vikings credit. They didn't give up, but truly the Lions are the better team here. We think they'll be the better team against the Titans as well. 31-17 for the Lions in this one. Packers to the Jaguars, and the Lions had the best performance of the weekend, we believe. We also think the Packers have the second best performance. And you look at the game against the Texans, they only won by 2, but look a little closer. Again, go back, watch the game like we did. They held C.J. Stroud, widely considered one of the best quarterbacks in the league, to 55 yards passing. 55. They also did something that's really incredible. They won the game despite losing the turnover battle 3-0. And that never happens. 91% chance you're going to lose that game. They won it anyway. Very impressive. We think they're going to be right up there with the Lions for the NFC North Division. We especially like them here, even having to go on the road to face the Jaguars. 27-17 for the Packers in this game. Vikings at the Rams, starting off our football week with Thursday Night Football. We look at these two teams, and boy, they could be both offensive powerhouses. Great quarterback play, great coaching on the offensive side. We think the difference is going to be what Brian Flores is doing on the defensive side. You got that really aggressive scheme. We think a quarterback like Matthew Stafford, who lacks mobility compared to, say, a Jared Goff or other quarterbacks like that, gives the Vikings the advantage. We think they bounce back here from that tough defeat against the Lions to win it here 28-21. Also watch the injury report to see if Cooper Kupp is playing. That could make a difference as well. But for this one, we do like the Vikings. We look at them as the favorite. Road favorites, unusual. We know that. We think playing indoors, they're used to that. Shouldn't be a disadvantage. There probably is going to be a lot of purple in the house as Vikings fans really travel. So we like the Vikings here, minus the 2.5 as a best bet. Eagles at the Bengals. Looking at these two teams, the Eagles look like they're finally coming back into form that they showed in that Game 1 victory over Green Bay. Bengals also kind of on the upswing. Nice victory yesterday and a good win over the Giants on Monday night. But when we look at these two teams, we like the more balanced defense. And of course, Eagles, we like Vic Fangio as the coordinator. We think they're going to be a little bit better than the Bengals, even though they're on the road. We like them here 28-21. We'll go with the road dog here as we think the Eagles haven't peaked quite yet. We like them here 3.5, 4 if you can get it as a dog. Saints at the Chargers. Not sure about you guys, but don't like the fact that the Chargers game was on ESPN Plus, a streaming service we should not be required to have to watch primetime NFL games. We actually have it, still couldn't log in because of authentication issues. But for this game, we think the Saints' injuries are going to preclude them being successful for a while. Their season is more or less over at this point. I think the Chargers still have a shot, although their offense is kind of weak. Yesterday in the parts of the game we did see, we like them here 27-17 over the Saints. Colts at the Texans, divisional rematch. Texans had a narrow victory in the Week 1 matchup at Indy. And look at these two teams. The Colts coming back with Anthony Richardson, C.J. Stroud for the Texans. C.J. Stroud and that offensive line, I'm sorry, against Green Bay looked terrible. And I'm a Texans fan. I feel like I can criticize my own team. C.J. Stroud, way too immobile in the pocket. Got to be roll out left, roll out right, do something, better protection. We like him here 24-17. But if they don't correct the issues on the offensive line, as Tony Romo said, commentating, they're going to have problems. Chiefs at the Raiders at a tough AFC West divisional matchup. The Chiefs looked absolutely dominant against the 49ers in that Super Bowl rematch. And if you say dominant, question mark, not offensively dominant. It was all about the defense. The offense was actually mediocre to bad. At some point they said Mahomes' rating was like 30-40, which is just unbelievably low. But they did it with defense, kind of like what they did all last season. We think that'll continue here against a Raider team that's still trying to find its offensive identity. They have a couple pieces. They did better than most people thought they would do yesterday against the Rams. Still not enough. Still struggling at quarterback to figure it out. So we like the Chiefs here by 10 over the Raiders in Vegas. Next up, we have the Cardinals at the Dolphins. We did go back and watch that Cardinals-Chargers game. That was really an ugly win if you have to describe it a certain way. That one touchdown, or should have been touchdown if you saw it, Chargers fumbled the ball at the 2, went through the end zone. We call that bullshit play of the week, especially if you bet on the Chargers. Just mind-numbingly bad luck. But in this one, the big news is that Tua should be playing this week. We're here in South Florida. This is what we're hearing, that he's cleared to practice, expects to play. If he does play, we do expect to be kind of a conservative game plan. But even a conservative game plan against the Cardinals' porous defense, despite what they did against the Chargers, who really have not been passing the ball despite Justin Herbert, like the Fins here, 24-21. Bills at the Seahawks, and what did the Bills do to get this schedule? You have 3 straight road games, 1 home game, then they got to go all the way out to Seattle. Not sure that was fair, whoever built this. Looking at the games in Week 7, Buffalo struggled against Tennessee in the first half before rolling in the second half for an easy win. The Seahawks, look at that game, it looked like an easy win also. A lot of turnovers in that one. We're not sure they're going to be able to replicate that performance against a stronger Bills offense. We like Josh Allen over Geno Smith in this one, even on the road, 28-24 Bills. Panthers at the Broncos, a rematch of that Cam Newton Peyton Manning Super Bowl from a few years back. These two teams are a lot different than those. The Panthers still in rebuilding mode. Their defense is really struggling. Had a lot of key injuries, and the quarterback position going back between Bryce Young and Andy Dalton, not really solving too much. On the other side, the Broncos from going from a weak defense in 2023 to one of the NFL's best units. Due props to Vance Joseph and everything that they've done to turn that around. We think the defense again leads the way here as the Broncos beat the Panthers 24-14 at home in Denver. Ravens at the Browns. And after Monday night's game, I don't know that you could make too much of an argument. The Ravens are at least the top two offensive team in the league. We think they're number one right there with the Lions, and we hope that's the Super Bowl matchup, quite frankly, from an entertainment perspective. But going into this game, this could be a position for a little bit of a letdown, and not too much is expected from the Browns, especially after losing Deshaun Watson for the season to an Achilles. This could be a good underdog teaser spot for the Browns, but from a straight bet perspective, we think the Ravens still win, probably 8 or 9. We're going to predict 21-10 for the final. Cowboys at the 49ers, a very one-sided NFC rivalry as of late, but we think this year might be the opportunity for the Cowboys to score the upset. The 49ers just are a shell of their former selves, with Ayuk now out, apparently for the season with an MCL, ACL tear. Not sure Deebo Samuel's status. We know McCaffrey's still out. The Cowboys haven't really pieced it together. We also think they're due for a decent performance, and this is probably the best opportunity they have. We think this game will be close, but we think with the state of the 49ers with their injuries and everything, we like the Cowboys here 21-17 on the road. Bears at the Commanders is the game we're most looking forward to for this weekend. We look at these two. Hopefully, it's going to be a matchup of Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels. Checking the latest injury report here on Thursday, looks like Jaden Daniels, they're claiming he's day-to-day. We have to think for an injury like that, he most likely will not play, so we're planning accordingly, and we think the lines are being set accordingly as well, with the Bears being favored by 2 to 2.5 points. We still look at this, and we think the Commanders' offense with Cliff Kingsbury and what they're doing, we think they're going to be good enough, especially at home, to eke out a narrow victory 31-28 over the Bears.
That's all for this time. Thank you for joining. Please subscribe to our channel, and we look forward to sharing our future videos with you.